Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Movement Radio. I am Chip Hazard, and it's Tuesday, so you know what that means. We're going to review the new comics coming out tomorrow. But first, before we get into all that, I'd like a little input from you guys. Do you guys like the where I break down and give a brief synopsis of each comic as I'm putting it out there, or would you rather me just do a whole thing and just have, the book cover here or here or something like that? And any input from you guys would be absolutely, phenomenal. And also, please don't forget to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe right down below. That really helps the algorithm. It helps me out a whole lot. And as you guys know, I've given up coffee in 2025, and we're going with straight herbal tea. Today's herbal tea is a peach mango ginger green tea. It's really, really good. Oh yeah, I like that. So we're going to start off with Marvel first, and we're going to start off with Alien Paradiso number 3. Um, the synopsis of this says decades ago, Wayland Yutani swept Thomas Kane's violent death on the Nostromo under the rug, hiding the truth even from the wife and child who survived him. Now a hardened mercenary, his daughter, Sula, has carried that bitter mystery all this time. With the truth tearing bloody swants through her latest assignment, Sula might just wish she'd never found the answers after all. Now, honestly, I have not read any of the Alien comics, uh, but a buddy of mine has, and he said that they are really, really good comics. If you like the Alien universe, so if you are, then definitely check that out. Next up is an Alien book that I may want to check out. It's called Aliens versus Avengers, and this is issue number 3. Uh, and the synopsis says the engineers go to war, but in a world of cosmic heroes and genetic mutants, the engineers are not the only gods of creation. As the engineers set out to destroy what they made, humanity's remaining heroes discover an even more pressing threat: the X-Men. So we're getting an Alien X-Men kind of crossover here in this issue. I need to go back and read issues 1 and 2. Um, but it sounds to me, it sounds pretty interesting. Next up, we've got the Amazing Spider-Man number 68. Yeah, I know next week or last week we had 67. This week we have 68. Um, so it seems like the Amazing Spider-Man is a weekly release, but nonetheless. So this is still part of the Eight Deaths of Spider-Man series. And the synopsis reads: the scions of Cybertrak are too much, and Spider-Man has used up all of his lives. Is this the final death of Spider-Man? I need to go back and I need to read this Eight Deaths of Spider-Man series. Maybe they'll put out a trade paperback for the Eight Deaths of Spider-Man. I'm not 100% sure. But if they do, we'll cover it right here. But I'm intrigued by this Eight Deaths of Spider-Man kind of thing. Next up, we have what is arguably my personal favorite Marvel character, and that's Daredevil. And this is issue number 18. It says, after weeks of suffering at the hands of his literal demons, Matt Murdock has a single bout ahead of him, facing Wrath, the deadliest devil yet. Wrath has designs for Matt's soul, and it will stop at nothing to achieve them. Um, Now, as a Daredevil fan, I'm really loving this run of Daredevil. It's been really good so far. It started off kind of slow, but it's definitely picked up. Uh, and next up we have another Daredevil comic. It's Daredevil Unleashed, or I'm sorry, Daredevil Unleash Hell Red Band issue number 2. So something bloody is at work in Hell's Kitchen, watchful as ever as Daredevil, but at odds with her crime-fighting partner Matt Murdock. Elektra is alone on the trail of a serial killer whose work has a hauntingly familiar style. A grisly and grim tabulus begins appearing throughout the city. The lines between life and death or reality and illusion are about to blur. Now, this is part of the series where Elektra becomes Daredevil. I think a really good uh, concept in the comics, personally. But yeah, that's Daredevil Unleash Hell Red Band number 2. Next up, we have Doom Academy number 1. Now, last week we talked about um, the One World Under Doom issue 1, where Doom has become Sorcerer Supreme and all that. Uh, so talking about Doom becoming Sorcerer Supreme, did we really think that Strange Academy would be the same in the world with Doctor Doom as Sorcerer Supreme? Nope. Now it's Doom Academy, relocated from New Orleans to Latveria. The best magic school in the world just got better, according to some. It's the start of the second year of Strange Academy students, and you know that things will not go as planned. So this is all in the One World Under Doom story arc. This is going to be really good. I read One World Under Doom. If you haven't checked it out, go back and pick up One World Under Doom issue 1. It's really good. But yeah, this is the continuation of not that particular comic, but it falls in the One World Under Doom story arc. Next up, we have Exceptional X-Men number 6. Now, this is not part of the One World Under Doom story arc, and I'll be sure to let you know which are and which aren't. Who is Sheldon Xenos? The Exceptional X-Men's resident empath goes to work for the creator of the wildly popular Vere app. Maybe Xenos and his inventions can bring mutants the support, recognition, and connection they deserve. But the charismatic technology mogul seems to be hiding a secret or two, or four, or maybe more. So I definitely recommend picking this up if you are an X-Men fan. Exceptional X-Men has been, fairly good so far. I have been trying to keep up with it. So next up, we have the Incredible Hulk, number 22. Hulk is probably my second favorite Marvel character, but I like the mythos behind Hulk, and when he goes off-world and World War Hulk and all that. That's what I like. But the synopsis says Banner no more. Bruce Banner is now fully locked away within the body and mind of the Incredible Hulk. No more than a memory of Hulk's former self. But as Charlie increasingly violently loses control in her skinwalker alter ego Lacana, she finds a way to seek Banner's help within the Hulkscape. Can Banner help Charlie keep her newfound power without sacrificing her humanity? Meanwhile, gamma mutated people around the world are disappearing. Is Eldest to blame? And what does this mean for the Incredible Hulk? The Incredible Hulk series has been really good so far. I've enjoyed it a lot. But, if you're not a Hulk fan, then you may not be into this, but yeah. I I I mean, obviously you can see I've got Hulk over here. I picked this up. This is one of the McFarlane toy statues that they did. It's really beautiful. I'm going to be doing an unboxing on this here on the channel pretty soon. Um, so you be on the lookout for that. Let's see. Next up, we have the Infinity Watch, number two. So the Infinity Watch is made up of the most powerful beings in the universe, which should at least make them feel comfortable. But after the mysterious antagonist who showed up last issue ran the table on them devastatingly, everything in existence is in deep trouble. Has this antagonist mastered Phil Coulson, AAK Death himself? Hmm, you'll have to read to find out. This all comes out tomorrow. So if you're a fan of the Infinity Watch, definitely check this out. This also is not part of the One World Under Doom story arc. Next up, we have Laura Kinney, Wolverine number three. So Wolverine and Daredevil versus one. One has arrested the wrong mutant. The Humanity First militia has forced a mutant to do the unthinkable. But if Wolverine and Daredevil can't quell the unrest in the city, a more explosive result may derail mutant human relations forever. Um, Now I need to go back and check this out. I really forgot about this being more of a Wolverine Daredevil, but it's not Logan as Wolverine. This is Laura Kinney as Wolverine. But I thought I forgot about the crossover with her and Daredevil. So I need to go back and check that out. So I can give you guys a better understanding of this series. Next up, we have Miles Morales Spider-Man number 30. This is also not part of the One World Under Doom story arc. If you remember last week, we were talking about the Pools of Blood story arc. So this is part two of the Pools of Blood story arc. And it says Spider-Man is back in Brooklyn, only to find himself right in the crosshair of Deadpool. Actually, both Deadpools. Wade Wilson has gone too far this time and messed with the wrong Spider-Man. How far will go to collect on his contract? And who is really behind this job? Whoever it is, it can't be good for Deadpool or Miles Morales. Now, personally, I think the Miles Morales story arc of Spider-Man is better than the Peter Parker story arc. I know, don't come at me in the comments for that. I know Peter Parker is like the end all be all, but I uh, I just personally like the Miles Morales version better. So I'll definitely be picking this one up. Next up, we have Mystique number five, which is also not part of the One World Under Doom story arc. So Mystique and Nick Fury come face to face as their battle reaches its endgame. Caught in Mystique's web of deception, how can Fury escape, and just what is she really after? I've never really been a fan. I mean, I like the X-Men, but I've not been like a real big fan of Mystique per se. Um, so I haven't been reading this, but I hear through the interwebs that it's a really good book so far. So I may go back and pick it up, check it out. I'm not 100% sure. Next up, we have NYX or New York X-Men number 8. Thin line between love and hate. Powerful, troubled, intense. He was Hellion and she was X-23. Two kids more similar than different, battling a cruel world. Now Julian Keller's calling himself the Krakoan, the proud new face of mutant terrorism. Laura Kinney is Wolverine, stalking silently from the shadows, trying to keep mutants safe. They're about to come face to face with each other, with the past and with what they've become. And one thing is for sure, they're not kids anymore. NYX has been really good so far. I've checked it out periodically. Thought it was pretty good. So go check that out. Next up, we've got Star Wars Ahsoka number 8. And this kind of loosely follows the Ahsoka TV series so far. Hopefully kind of veer off into some other stories. But the synopsis for this, it's simple. It just says the heroes race to prevent Grand Admiral Thrawn's escape. That's where we are in this series. I've been reading it. I'm a big Star Wars fan. Definitely, yeah, check that one out. Next up, we have a new Star Wars comic, and it's the High Republic Fear of the Jedi #1. So, what scares the Jedi? We've got New York Times bestselling author Kevin Scott, who also wrote Venom, Zombioids Union, Jack the Ripper, and he returns with artist Marika Cresta from Dr. Apra and Captain Carter for the galaxy-shattering final arc of Star Wars: The High Republic. As fighting with the Nihil occlusion zone intensifies, Jedi Master Keeve Trennis is set upon a path that will change her life forever. Guest starring the Acolytes, Wookiee Jedi Master Klinaka, alongside fan favorite characters from Star Wars: The High Republic novels, audio dramas, and comics. So they're going out and they're picking, from the novels, which if you haven't read the High Republic novels yet, I got them on Kindle. Really, really good reads if you're a Star Wars fan. I know a lot of people aren't Star Wars fans, and it's okay. We are non-judgmental over here. I really like them. So they're going out and they're getting characters from the novels, from the audio dramas, from the other comics, and they're pulling them all together for the final arc here of Star Wars: The High Republic. Next up, we have Storm #5. Now, this is part of the One World Under Doom story arc. So, Oblivion waits no longer. Trivial is the fight with Doctor Doom, Sorcerer Supreme. For in a realm beyond our own, in the dimension of manifestations, a trial by combat brews between eternity, the physical embodiment of our universe, and oblivion, the physical embodiment of the void. The fate of our universe is at stake. Who shall fight on behalf of our universe? If not Aurora Monroe, the eternal storm, how will she fare against the ageless primordial behemoth that is Oblivion? I checked out the first couple of issues of Storm just because I was interested to see what they would do with the Storm character in a solo book, and it's been pretty good so far. I'm a couple of episodes or issues, not episodes, a couple of issues behind. I've only read issue 1 and 2 so far, so I need to pick up 3 and 4 before I read 5. But the first 2 issues I thought were pretty good. Next up, we have Thunderbolts Doomstrike #1. From the name, yes, you can tell this is part of the One World Under Doom story arc. So it says, Revolution like lightning, Doom took over the world, and Bucky Barnes helped him do it. To atone for his unwitting role in Doom's triumph, Bucky assembles a team with one goal: burn it all down. But when Bucky's saboteurs, including Black Widow, Songbird, U.S. Agent Sharon Carter, and a few surprise wildcards, launch a no-holds-barred campaign to tear Doom's empire apart, Doom decides to prove that revolution ends in blood. So I definitely want to check this one out. The Thunderbolts, I know a lot of people have like just flamed the Thunderbolts trailer online. I think it looks pretty good. It's a it's a different concept than what we're used to when it comes to superheroes per se. But I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to uh this Thunderbolts Doomstrike #1. Next up, we have Ultimate Black Panther #13. So this is part of the Ultimate Verse, not part of the regular verse. So this will not be part of One World Under Doom. So Ultimate Black Panther Year 2 starts here, with Moon Knight defeated and the Maker's Council forced to regroup. T'Challa must learn the secrets of vibranium because his very life and soul are at risk. The Sorcerer Supreme can help understand the truth of the terrifying element that built Wakanda, but her aid comes with a price. Um, so yeah, if you're a Black Panther fan and you are a fan of the Ultimate Universe, then definitely check this out. Um, I I've been kind of sporadically reading Ultimate Black Panther, and I thought it was pretty good. It's kind of like a early telling of Black Panther or T'Challa as Black Panther, and the first 12 issues were his first year as Black Panther. With issue 13, we start the second year. It'd be interesting if they do just 12 issue uh, years or whatnot, but that's uh, that's going to be interesting. So, next up, Ultimate Wolverine. Yes, that is correct. Ultimate Wolverine number two. Now, I didn't pick up issue one, um, but I need to go back and get that. And it says the Makers Council and their ultimate weapon, Colossus, Omega Red, and Magic, put the Ultimate Wolverine to the test by seeing how well he handles the opposition, a group fighting for mutant liberation. This sounds interesting. Again, I didn't pick up issue one. I need to go back and grab that, see how this story is all encompassing so far. Uh, Next up, we have Weapon X-Men number one. Now, this sounds really interesting to me because it's a team up book, but it's one world. It's part of the One World Under Doom story arc. So you get Wolverine, Deadpool, Cable, Chamber, and Thunderbird together on their very own X team for the very first time, all in an extra size first issue. When a high stakes mutant rescue mission from the ultimate global hotspot exposes the true enemy, possibly from within, an all new team of all action icons suddenly finds themselves forged in fire. The official membership policy is no mercy allowed. Now, this book is brought to you by returning X-Men writer Joe Casey and acclaimed artist Chris Cross. So accept no substitutes. This is the one you didn't even know you were waiting for. Yes, this is the real thing. Uh, I am excited about this. I'll be picking this up tomorrow. So that's Weapon X-Men number one. Next up, we have Werewolf by Night number seven. This is not part of the One World Under Doom story arc. So, still bidding her time after Blood Hunt, Midnight Suns, the most fatale or femme fatale in all of Mighty Marveldom, Lilith, sets her sights on a glorious and horrifying return. With Elsa Bloodstone's blood on her hands and plans for the dark Holden blood flowing through Jack Russell's veins, Lilith isn't the only elder demon who stands at the precipice of a glorious comeback. Uh, so yeah, I've not read Werewolf by Night, and I know there was a Marvel show on Disney Plus, I believe, called Werewolf by Night. Uh, but I haven't watched that either. So if you are into this, I would definitely say go check it out. Next up we have X Factor number seven. There's a new man in charge. Angel. I'm telling you, I can't talk. I start fumbling over my words, and I do apologize. Um, but this is part of the One World Under Doom story arc. So Angel returns to lead X Factor, just as Emperor Doom will lead the world to glory. But in the utopic domain of the magnanimous Doom, what could X Factor's mission be, and what could bring them to a small nation on the island of Genosa? A lot of questions there. Not sure what's going to happen. Um, but if you want to follow the One World Under Doom story arc, Definitely pick this one up. Next up, we have X-Force number 7. Now, this does not appear to be part of the One World Under Doom story arc. Um, so, can X-Force survive a fight with Colossus? The mysterious La Diabla of X-Force on the ropes, and she's brought some unexpected allies. Plus, what does Forge's analog device have to do with the fractures? Threatening the planet and La Diabla's designs, the season's most surprising X-book packs a few more turns. Um, it looks just from the cover, it looks interesting. Sounds pretty interesting from the synopsis. So this is one I may check out. Um, Not 100% sure on that. Uh, and last but not least, in the Marvel area, we have Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man number 3. This is not part of the One World Under Doom story arc. So the synopsis reads, swinging into trouble with a new school, new powers, and a new secret identity, Peter Parker's in over his head as he tries to navigate his double life as Spider-Man. Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is swinging into a new animated series on Disney Plus, but you can read about it first as he takes on the Enforcers. Um, so yeah, we're getting a new Disney Plus uh TV show that's based off of this comic. I think it's going to be really good. So definitely go check that out. All right, next up over in the DC universe, we have Batman Superman World's Finest number 36. So, under the waves lies death. Superman and Batman must team with Aquaman and Swamp Thing to prevent a global eco catastrophe engineered by the Floronic Man. An extra dimensional battalion of converts wreaks havoc on the high seas in this latest installment of the 20,000 Leagues epic. Um, so yeah, I want to check this out. I don't know. I think the idea of Swamp Thing is was really interesting, and to see him paired with some of the other DC characters like Batman, Superman, Aquaman, um, that's pretty cool. So I'm interested to see. I need to go back and read some of Batman Superman World's Finest. It's one of the few DC books that I haven't picked up yet, but I can pick those up and binge read them pretty quickly. Next up, we have Batman and Robin, Year One, number 5. So, Home Alone in Wayne Manor, a lead from Gordon provides Batman an opportunity to chase down one of the general's assets. But do, the best way to get close to them is not as Batman, but as Bruce Wayne. But with Bruce off on his own, Dick is left stuck at Wayne Manor. What's a boy wonder to do when no one's watching? So last week we talked about Batman and Robin. That story, it involves Bruce and Damian Wayne. So Batman and Robin Year One, it's Bruce and Dick Grayson. But it's been pretty good. I've enjoyed it so far. So I'll definitely be picking up issue 5 here. Next up, we have Catwoman number 73. So it says Selena Kyle arrives in Tokyo looking for an old ally and a much needed respite. Unfortunately for the feline fatale of crime, her enemies are already one step ahead of her, and she struggles to outwit them. Catwoman is offered a proposition. What if she were to completely disappear and give up being Selena Kyle forever? Um, that's an interesting concept. What would happen to Catwoman if Selena Kyle disappeared forever? Would somebody else take up the moniker of Catwoman? Um, maybe not. We don't know. I mean, when Bruce left as Batman, Dick took up the mantle of Batman for a while before he became Nightwing when Bruce came back. Um, so that would be an interesting concept to see what would happen if Selena Kyle gave up being Catwoman. Next up, we have Challengers of the Unknown number 3. So the Challengers continue to investigate the after effect of the dark side shockwave. The latest mission draws Professor Haley along with Ray Palmer, aka the Atom, to a remote and far-reaching part of the world where hyperintelligence seems to have infected a long-missing individual from DC Comics past. Ooh, okay, I wonder who that is. Things turn even stranger when a being appears to the professor and the atom, claiming to be from the future and calling itself the Optimum. The Optimum promises untold scientific secrets that is, if it could have a glimpse into the Justice League's top secret Atom project. Oh, wow. Okay. I wonder what's gonna happen here. Um, I did read the first two issues of Challengers Unknown. It's one of those. It's kind of like a side quest to a main story, in my opinion. But I'll check this out. I want to see who the individual from DC Comics past is. Next up, we have DC Horror presents Creature Commandos number 5. If you haven't been reading this or you haven't been watching Creature Commandos on Max, I don't know what you're doing. Again, not for the kids. This is not for the kids. Um, but I've really been enjoying it. Um, so again, this is DC Horror Presents Creature Commandos number 5. So sink your fangs into the penultimate chapter of David Dasmalchian and Jesus Hervez' twisted tale. Haunted by her past, Dr. West needs this mission to succeed for all her sacrifices to be worth it. The commandos she's assembled are a deadly team, but what happens when they're up against a robot army immune to their monstrous powers? Okay, definitely going to check this out. Like I said, I've been enjoying this and Creature Commandos on Max, so check it out if you like the more horror-based kind of strange comics per se. Um, Next up, we have Jenny Sparks number 7. So don't miss the epic conclusion. After a battle with catastrophic consequences, Jenny must rebuild the defeated Captain Atom, and through him, the world. Will she do so in her own image or leave the 21st century well enough alone? All this and more in the unforgettable conclusion to this acclaimed miniseries. This is one of those ones that I passed on originally, and I may go back and read if they put out a trade paperback. I don't know much about Jenny Sparks or where they're going. Now, this is part of the DC Black Label series, or yeah, Black Label series. Next up, we have part of the Milestone universe, the Shadow Cabinet number 4. So this is also a finale. And this is the finale of the Shadow Cabinet. It's all been leading to this. The heroes assemble to face the threat greater than they've ever faced before. But is it too late? Not if Rocket and Static rise to the occasion to become the shining beacons of hope for the Milestone universe. Um, so definitely pick this up to see what's going on over here in the Milestone universe. Uh, I haven't yet, but next up we have the New Gods number 3. Deep in the cosmos, an intergalactic inquisition descends upon Apocalypse and New Genesis, carrying with it a sinister message: convert or be destroyed. Meanwhile, on Earth, Mr. Miracle and Big Barda, with their baby in tow, seek out the mysterious child spoken of in New Metron's prophecy. Desperate to find him before Orion does, could this child, this new god, be the universe's savior or the reincarnation of the great universe's greatest evil? Yeah, I'm interested to see where they go here with this story. I picked up New Gods issue 1 and 2, and they've been pretty good so far. Now, uh, I don't know a whole lot about the New Gods. I didn't read any of the previous New Gods series from whence before. What I have read so far has been pretty good. Next up, we have Nightwing number 123. Can Nightwing save his city from all-out war? Nightwing answers a distress call from the genetically spliced Flyboys, creating an opportunity to bring another gang on board with his plan to save Bloodhaven's streets from a bloody war. But have they mutated themselves too far to be saved? This is going to be interesting. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I've been keeping up with the Nightwing series. I'm interested to see where they go with this story arc. Next up, we have The Question All Along the Watchtower number 4. So the Watchtower, overrun, cornered, and betrayed. The Question and Batwoman must rally a ragtag group of allies to retake the Watchtower from a surprising villain as the true mastermind behind the conspiracy to take over the Justice League's headquarters stands revealed. It's going to be interesting. I'll pick this up. I've read the first 3 issues. It seems pretty interesting. So, next up we have Titans number 20. So take an overly emotional empath and add a hearty dose of psychosis, and what do you get? A recipe for disaster. Also, a belligerent boyfriend, an enraged archer, and an unsound cyborg, an agitated alien, a testy tactician, and a livid team leader. Yes, Titan's temper, Titan's tempers are running hot. But the angriest person of all, dear reader, will be you if you miss this issue. And I do agree with that. This has been a good story so far here over at Titans, and I'm interested to see where they move forward from here. So yeah, definitely go pick up Teen Titans number 20. Next up, we have Wonder Woman number 18. So, after the birth of her daughter, Diana finally returns to the battlefield ready to take down those who dare to harm her Wonder Girls. To take down Sovereign's formidable general, Grail, she must call upon her friend turned foe, the Cheetah. So, yeah, if you've been keeping up with Wonder Woman, you'll know she was pregnant. I won't spoil too much. She's pregnant. She's now had a kid. She's jumping back into the fight. There were other people that were taking her place while she was uh, quote unquote under the weather. But yeah, definitely go check this out. Figure out who Wonder Woman's baby daddy is and all that. Finally, on the DC side of things, we have Zatanna number 1. So Zatanna, the Mistress of Magic, is back on tour. She's got her stage crew back together and is looking forward to a new, less chaotic chapter of life. However, her plans are disrupted before they even begin when her stage crew is abducted by a ghostly new adversary, the Lady White. Now Zatanna is plugged into machinations of tricks, swords, and curses that threaten to tear her apart from the inside out. So yeah, if you're a fan of Zatanna, definitely check this out. All right, next up, we're gonna jump over to the IDW Publishing series, and we're going to talk about a couple of Godzilla books here. We got Godzilla's 70th anniversary foil classics, Godzilla Kingdom of Monsters number 1. So in celebrating Godzilla's 70th anniversary, God, I can't believe Godzilla's been around 70 years. That's absolutely insane. I love Godzilla. But IDW is proud to present reprintings of the greatest comic stories ever told, starting with Godzilla Kingdom of Monsters #1, featuring a gorgeous foil cover by superstar Alex Ross. And if you aren't familiar with who Alex Ross is, his artwork is absolutely phenomenal. So the King of Monsters rises again, and for the first time in comics, it's bringing lots of other beloved Toho monsters with it in one destructive saga. When Godzilla appears off the coast of Japan, the Japanese government must respond quickly to contain the disaster, but before long, other monsters start appearing all over the world. Can humanity survive this mysterious onslaught of giant beasts? So, yeah, definitely check this out if you're a Godzilla fan. I know I am going to. Next up, in the remaining over here at IDW Publishings, we're going to talk about another Godzilla book called Godzilla Heist #1. So what if you could predict when and where Godzilla would appear? What if you knew of the perfect opportunity to pull off the heist of the century? Ja is a young man who knows two things. A heist needs a good distraction, and there's no distraction like Godzilla. When Ja discovers Godzilla responds to specific energy signals he can send into the atmosphere, he creates the perfect opportunity to stage high-profile heists in the middle of Godzilla's attack. But these heists put Ja on the radar of some very dangerous men, men who want Ja to work with them to pull off the most dangerous job the world has ever seen. So I'll be picking up both of these Godzilla books. I love Godzilla. I grew up watching the old Godzilla movies, and I've even showed my kids the Godzilla movies, and they love them. So the last one we'll talk about over here at IDW Publishing is Star Trek #29. So Cisco is stuck outside space-time in Bajor. He does not know if his crew and his family are alive or if his universe even exists beyond this plane. Also, Cisco knows that uh, he must stop Lore before everyone and everything he loves is destroyed forever. To do that, he must build the orbs of destiny, and all comes down to this. If there's any hope for a future, the prophets will reveal it now. Now, I'm not a huge Star Trek fan, so I have not been reading these. All right, next up, we're going to talk about what's coming out for Image Comics. We have The Deadly Tales of the Gunslinger Spawn #3. So it says, in under 48 hours, the gunslinger's life underwent an unexpected transformation, granting him extraordinary powers and newfound abilities. Simultaneously, it unleashed a hidden realm of existence that had eluded him until now, akin to opening Pandora's box. Now I've really liked what they've been doing with the Spawn characters and giving them their own stories as they go. So I've been reading the offshoots of Spawn, and I like them a lot. Next up, we have G.I. Joe #4. So the race is on. Both Cobra and the Joes are in a deadly contest to retrieve Cybertronian tech first. Meanwhile, a Joe learns Cobra Commander's secret the hard way. So this is going to be interesting to see where they go here, and what they do with the Cybertronian tech once they receive it, or once they find it. Next up, we have King Spawn #42. If you haven't been reading King Spawn, I highly recommend it. I thought that it was really good so far. So something old and malevolent is lurking in the shadows of New York City. Even with his powers fully restored, can Spawn defeat this ancient evil before more innocents are taken? Rory McConville takes over the writing chores of King Spawn and sends Al down a dark, horrific path where he learns that even a hell spawn can be hunted. Next up, we have Violator Origins number 6. Now, yes, this is, still in the Spawn verse, if you want to call it that. So, the Violator's tale is coming to its end. His adventures and manipulations through human history are reaching their crescendo. How much of it was true? How much of it was the embellishment of a sadistic and insane demon? Who really cares? It was a great story, right? The Violators' new best friend certainly thinks so. So yeah, I'll be interested to see, where they go with this, whether this is going to be a short series or if they drag it out longer. It'll be super interesting. And finally, over at Image, we have the Walking Dead Deluxe number 108. Now, if you've already read the Walking Dead series, there's no need to pick this up unless you just want to. This is just issue of Walking Dead 107 that with the deluxe version, all they've done is gone in and colored it instead of leaving it black and white. There's nothing new to the story or anything like that. So yeah, if you've already read The Walking Dead, it's nothing new. But if you haven't read The Walking Dead, pick it up 100%. All right. From Image Comics, we're gonna jump over to Boom Studios. There's not a lot over at Boom that I really like, but they do carry the Power Rangers, and today we're going to talk about Power Rangers Prime number 4. So it's an epic battle that ensues between the new Prime Red Ranger and the deadly VR Troopers, but not without a little help from a familiar foe. In a dire moment, Rita Repulsa sacrifices the last of her wand strength to create the keys to their survival. But will it be enough to save the teens from capture? So, yeah, if you haven't been reading Power Rangers Prime, it's really good. I also like the ongoing Power Ranger series as well. And we'll talk about that more. But we'll talk about that more once the next issue comes out, and we'll go further into depth in that. And then the last that I want to talk about today is Dynamite Comics. I like their stuff, and it's not your typical run-of-the-mill, normal everyday comic. They do stuff like what they have coming out this week. We have Darkwing Duck number 1. If you ever watched the old Darkwing Duck show, then you'll know this is a must-have for anybody in that nostalgia. He is the terror that flaps the night, the fowl that felons most fear, a legend in his own time and in his own mind. He is Darkwing Duck. But how did this avian exemplar develop his redoubtable reputation? What lessons did he learn in his early years of crime busting and faux foiling? His legion of fans, or at least his adopted daughter Gosselin, want to know. And DW is more than happy to tell her the story, possibly embellished. This is the unauthorized and unorganized autobiography of Darkwing Duck. I'll definitely be picking this up. I enjoyed the Darkwing Duck cartoon series from back in the day. I'm interested to see what they do with this here. Also coming out this week from Dynamite Comics is the Herculoids number 1. So if you don't know what the Herculoids are, it's an old I want to say it was on Cartoon Network. I know it's a Hanna-Barbera thing, but it's an old cartoon that it was really good. But building on the success of the critically acclaimed and best-selling Space Ghost series, Dynamite Entertainment is proud to bring another beloved Hanna-Barbera classic to readers this February. It's called The Herculoids. Hidden in the furthest reaches of space, the planet Amzot is legendary for its fabled riches and for the terrible fates that befall anybody who seeks to exploit them. Those who survive their encounters tell blood-chilling tales of horrific, imposing monsters that guard the mysterious world. Yet the lure of its abundant resources is too great to resist. Raiders and pirates continue to come from across the galaxy, and there is only one force strong enough to stop their constant attacks, the Herculoids. But as strong as these defenders are, a recent battle may have pushed Amzot to its limits and awakened a sleeping darkness within the planet itself. So I'm really looking forward to that. I enjoyed watching the series back in the day, and I'm looking forward to reading the comics and see how they take the series into a whole new world. So next up, we're going to talk about Space Ghost number 10. So in this issue, a dark and shocking figure from the future emerges, presenting a new yet disturbingly familiar threat to the team. Together, they must stand fast against the tide of evil that is about to be unleashed, or else doom will sweep across the entire galaxy. Now, I wasn't a huge fan of Space Ghost when it was on TV, but I picked up, knowing what it was, I picked up the first couple of issues of the comic, and man, it's really good. Uh, Dynamite has really stepped it up a little bit, and uh, it's gonna be really good. And our last comic for the day is Terminator number 5. So it's 1961, and high above the launch pads of Florida and Central Asia, the US and the USSR are racing to claim the ultimate high ground of space. America's accelerated program of manned missions, Project Mercury, is poised to put its first crew into orbit, but something even deadlier than Cold War rivalries may be hitching a ride. I like the lore behind Terminator, so I've been reading this series, and I think it's pretty good. It's obviously not for everybody, so we'll go from there. But I think it's really good so far. And then we'll see where it goes. Um, but yeah, that's all I've got for comic books coming out this week. Again, like I said in the beginning of the video, any input that you have on making this series better, whether you want me to read give you the synopsis of the book coming out, or just kind of like a list with the cover here or here. Um, you know, whatever works best for you. I really just enjoy giving you guys or sharing with you the comics that are coming out because I love comic books. Um, but yeah, again, please do not leave without leaving a like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until next time, keep supporting all of your local comic book shops. I'm Chip Hazard. Peace.